Neal Battaglia, saxstation.com. I got sent a picture the other day along with a question. It's an alto saxophone mouthpiece, and basically the ligature was on the bottom of the mouthpiece, and it was upside down. So here's a tenor mouthpiece. This is an auto link with a pretty standard ligature. But basically, the mouthpiece is thinner on the top and thicker on the bottom, and therefore the ligature is designed to match up with that. It's thinner on the top, thicker on the bottom. If you put it the opposite direction with the thinner part on the bottom and try and put it on the mouthpiece, it basically will go about that far. It won't really work. And if you try to put it on the bottom, it might seem like it would work this way because the wider end is connecting with the thicker part of the mouthpiece, but basically you can't put on a mouthpiece like that either. And it'd be even harder to try and put it on with the thinner piece. It'd go less far. So basically, you put it on from the top. You can't go either direction. Usually, maybe with some ligatures you can, but not all the time. And also another thing you can note is that for me, the screws are on the right side of me when the reed is facing towards my body. So the screws are here, and again, that's different. Sometimes ligatures are built to be inverted, so they're more like this. This one isn't specifically built for that, so I wouldn't recommend putting it on that way. This one should basically go on like that. The reed goes underneath. And I always put the ligature on first and then the reed. Put the reed on after the ligature. You'll be less likely to break your reed. Even if it only happens once in a while, you don't really want to break a reed because they're expensive and it might be a good reed that you want to keep playing. And if it's broken, it's not going to do as well. So yeah, that's a quick answer to a question. So the picture says, no podemos poner el reed. And that means we can't put the reed on in Spanish. So yeah, basically if you have the ligature set up wrong, it's not going to go on. You're not going to be able to start playing the saxophone. And you'll get used to this really quickly. You'll know which direction the screws should face. I could probably even do this without looking at it. If I try to put it on the other way. Oh, that doesn't work. Okay. Got like that. Okay. I mean, I've put on the ligature on mouthpiece a lot of times, and sometimes you're in the dark. I literally have put on the ligature in the dark a few times. Either the power goes out, or maybe you're at a venue where it's dark and you don't have much light. Maybe you're like in the back room, maybe you're outside. For some reason, you might not have a lot of light, so you'll get used to it. It'll become automatic. You don't have to really think about it too much. But yeah, if you put it on the opposite way when you're first starting, it's not going to work. So yeah, basically, if it's a ligature like this, the screws are on the right. The larger diameter is on the bottom, the smaller diameter is on the top. Matches up with the size of the mouthpiece, and that's how you put on a ligature. If you have an inverted ligature, it's a little bit different, but usually I think the screws are still on the right. Theoretically, they could be on the left, but I think maybe just because most people are right-handed, that's how they tend to design them. If you have a question, you can go to Sax Station. I have a specific page that asks for a little bit of background information because basically I'm going to answer a question a little bit differently if you've been playing for years versus if you played starting yesterday. Because basically the problems come about for different reasons and in different ways, depending on how much you play, how much you practice, what your experience is, and a few other factors.